You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
How are you doing, Mr. Walker?
What's up, girl?
I'm good. I got a question for you.
Hit me.
Have you ever been a quitter?
Damn. That sounds harsh. Yes, I have been a quitter for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons?
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm not going to sit here in front like I quit smoking and quit drinking and all the cool things that you're supposed to quit. I've quitted other things that you shouldn't have quit. So, yes, I am a quitter. Damn.
Some things need to be quit.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've definitely quit jobs, quit people, quit activities. I didn't quit drinking. Not yet. Now, at one point in my life, I did, but it found me.
It found you. Yeah. It's like, you ain't quitting me.
Yeah. It was like, we ain't over.
It's like that boyfriend you can't get rid of. Yeah. Totally understand. I want to introduce our special guest in the building. Super honored to have him. My man, my friend, the homie, Chef Spencer Hunter is in the building with us. And his beautiful mother, Benelia Hunter, is in the building with us.
What's up?
Hey,
Yo,
welcome.
tell the people hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Chef has been on local news here in San Diego from Fox, NBC, see like whatever news channel you could think of locally. He's been on them. And we're going to get into his story and we're going to get into what Chef got going on. But he's also been seen on Food Network. He was on the Great Food Truck Race as a competitor and then went back as like a judge or as an advisor.
Yeah, on the season after, got to taste some food and talk about it.
Super dope. So can't wait to talk about that stuff. Super excited to hear more about what Chef got going on. Basically, I'm gonna throw the mic into your hand and let you talk about it.
And I have a couple of questions before you go there. First, how are your new nieces and nephew, or your niece and nephew and grandchild?
They're doing great, bigger than ever. Isla, she's just 2 years old, but you would think she's 5. I know you've seen the pictures, how big she is.
They grow so fast.
Yeah, and she's so smart. So I was like, just her development, you would think that she's way older than she is. So you forget that she's just 2. So, but she's great. Odin just had his baptism a couple of weeks ago, and he's big too. Obviously, coming from our side of the family.
You guys are big guy,
big boy, and he looks just like Pierce. So it's pretty cool to see.
And it's your first niece and your first nephew,
yes,
right? So you got a boy and a girl, so that's pretty cool.
So knock them out.
And how do you feel, Grandma?
Fabulous.
Yes.
Gigi in the house, loving her baby.
I like it.
You gotta have a cool name nowadays. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
So another question. The people want to know, are you on the market? Are you available? Are you single?
I am single.
And ready to
always
mingle?
tell people that I'm married to my business.
Okay.
I think a good reason why the business has gotten so far and has developed so fast is because I had time to dedicate to it full time. But yeah, no, I'm definitely open to mingle.
Okay.
I'm just turned 30 this year. Well, not just turned. I guess we're already halfway past through the year. But still holding on to it. I'm still 30 for the rest of the year.
30 and flirty.
So I'm ready.
So you say that Lumpia is the cousin of the egg roll and the amigo to roll tacos. I love that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Let's go into the Lumpia.
So Lumpia, a lot of people, especially when we're on the show, a lot of people didn't know what Lumpia is. So first things first, when people walk up to our truck or to any events, we have to explain what it is. So the easiest way that we could relate it to people here in Southern California was either egg roll or a roll taco. Everybody knows what a roll taco is here in San Diego.
And egg rolls, yeah.
Egg rolls too.
It's true.
So the only difference is that Lumpia is a flour and water wrap. So there is no egg in it. So it doesn't do the blistery on it. It's very smooth, thin and crispy. So that's why we like it as a vessel for all of our different flavors. But definitely, it's a slogan that you could remember easily whenever you hear it.
Definitely.
Me and my mom both came up with it at one of the festivals a long time ago, and it caught on so easily. And it makes people laugh because they're like, "Oh, it is like a Filipino roll taco."
It really is. It really is. And then, how did you guys come up with the name?
Leah's Lumpia.
Yes.
Well, originally it was Lola's Lumpia because his grandmother is probably the matriarch of Lumpia in San Diego. She had the first Filipino restaurant back in the 1970.
Wow.
And so with that being with Spencer, he's got Lumpia royalty. We call it in him.
I say we got sweet chili running through my veins.
Yeah, I love sweet chili, bro. That's dope.
Stay away from Spencer.
I had to jar that.
But yeah, we started the company with that name, and then when we went to the food truck, the Great Food Truck Race, through copyright issues on the East Coast, there's a company out there that's named Lola's Lumpia already. So we had to switch it up to something else, and we decided on Leah's Lumpia because my mom's name's Benelia, and Leah is a shortened version of it. So LL kept it easy, and it's a catchy name.
Yes.
People always want to know who's Leah. Leah?
Yes. And
So
then
I
now it's
guess
original too, right?
Yeah.
Now that's you.
It has a story behind it.
Yeah. I
Super
like it.
dope. And still able to keep it in the family too. That's
It's
what
all a family business, small business. So Lola was our grandma, so Leah is my mom. So she is a grandma now. So technically it is
Yes,
a
I
Lola.
am. I've earned my stripes.
full circle.
Yeah.
Super dope. So it's a very interesting story. I mean, we go back a few years.
Yes.
I remember when we met, and you literally all you had was the fryer and a tent. That was it.
And in the back of my Ranger.
And a dream, right?
Yeah,
And a
yeah.
dream. I mean, for years it was. This is what I want to do. You were side hustling with the restaurant, doing catering, and then popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And you approached us with the pop up, and from there it seemed like yesterday.
Yeah, time flies. Like I said, it's owning your own business, doing your own thing. It's the dedication to it, the full time. The time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Is
Facts.
The slang. But the pandemic kind of got me to work on being full time, obviously with the company. The side hustle, it started as a side hustle, but then it became a full-time hustle. And that's where we really reap the benefits of what we really have. And after the food truck race, we really solidified our product. And that's really where we saw the growth happen really fast. I think from those days, not many people know about like just us cruising around in a Ranger, popping up where people let
On a
us.
sidewalk
On a
somewhere, like,
sidewalk,
can we
yeah,
just
yeah,
pop
drive
up?
and
Yeah.
these hills.
Yeah.
But it's that type of work that really got a good work ethic with us. And if we could pop up and do the hard days, long days, 2-day festivals, 30,000 people events, if we could start off the company like that, everything coming afterwards is kind of easier.
Very true.
We went through our boot camp already, so we're definitely seasoned.
Very true.
Very seasoned.
So I got to ask you this. Are you a quitter, or have you ever been a quitter?
That's a good question.
Let me tell you from a mother's perspective, and also a humble worker for my son. In the industry that he has chosen, I think if anybody has stepped their toe in that pool, it is extremely difficult. It's a passion from within that drives you. And sitting back, yes, I have quit many things, but watching Spencer, you can kind of predict what's coming around the corner that's going to kind of give him a really dogleg turn and straight up slap him in the face. And I sat back and I watched, and yes, the frustration was building up. You could see it in him. But I think what I observed is, it's not what I think, I did observe is that he took on the challenge. He took on the challenge that, oh, man. Well, here's an easy thing. We were at a 30,000 event festival. They had the street blocked off. There was only a special passageway for vendors to get their things in, and we ran out of lumpia wrappers. And there was so much more potential to make there.
The worst feeling.
The worst. Well,
no more rappers.
We said, let's go send somebody. And it was like we couldn't get the product literally into the festival in time. Drive by, throwing lumpia over a fence to get it to us. I mean, it was just like, Spencer's like, literally, we're here to make money. We still have 2 hours that we can make this money. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
So we had flying lumpia on Harbor Drive.
I love
but
it.
it's the challenge, and seeing individuals should really look at it as it's another challenge. And what grows out of it, biggest challenge I think all businesses have gone through is the pandemic. We all had to switch gear.
Very true. Very true.
Very true.
And especially when there's some of us, unfortunately, they had to close. There was no feasible way they could stay operating. But what did those people, a lot of those folks went and found another career. You're just shifting gears. But this pandemic really, I think for someone that's so young as Spencer and was starting off in his business, you have to really find that fortitude within and
Definitely.
realizing that quit can become in a positive sense in a way that you look at it.
Yeah,
But that's what I observed.
The way I look at it is like, I don't really see anything as quitting. I kind of look at it, I believe in failures for sure, but I believe like if you didn't try, you can't fail. So if you didn't try, I believe that's quitting.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess in a sense, I have quit on a lot of stuff that I never really put my mind to try, in a sense. But if failure is kind of what quitting is equivalent to in some people's minds, I would say that the failure helps you become resilient. And that's what I like gaining from things that you quit from. So you learn what not to do, what to do. You learn how you can bounce back from it. The saying of always coming back harder. You can fall, but come back harder. So definitely throughout my career, I've been very open-minded and have shifted gears a lot. I embrace every step of my professional life and personal life. But I think the traveling around the world, essentially, getting to meet different cultures and stuff, has got me in a sense to, I like to say like a cancellation diet, but it's like a cancellation of the characteristics you don't like about or you don't want to have within yourself. So like I have a tattoo on my arm. It's a partir sis mourir un peu, and in French it's to leave is to die a little. So when you leave a place, you kind of leave a part of yourself there. So I guess in a sense that it would be like my biggest thing of quitting is that sometimes like vacation mode, or if you're in like Australia or if you're in a different country, you're kind of living it up a different lifestyle that you usually do every day. So taking kind of, instead of leaving that lifestyle behind, taking a little bit with you and taking what you like as positive out of it and knowing what's negative out of it.
I like that.
So learning about yourself.
Yeah, most definitely. And with quitting and failure, right? If you fail at something, it means you did try it, but you failed, and you're like, I mean, maybe you may try it again. You might not quit it, but when you quit something, you're like, I'm done, right?
Yeah,
like
back to that shit.
yeah. Like a bad relationship, or sometimes even people. You're like, okay, that they were no good for me, and I am never going to go back. And maybe we did fail, because there's times, as in relationships, that we did fail. We could have done something different. We could have spoke a little, more. We could have, loved a little more, but it didn't work out, and so we quit.
Hey, but you learn something from
Definitely
it.
always
So,
learn.
yeah.
But
So,
that's pretty interesting because you have traveled around the world, like you've Australia, Panama, Guatemala, like you've been in a lot of different places. You've seen a lot of different cultures, and that was young. Like you're in college doing that.
Yeah. So definitely the biggest thing in college that I recommend to people nowadays, if there's a study abroad program that is exact same price that you're paying, or maybe just a little bit more, I 100% say go for it, because when else you get to travel the world and get your credits for education too. So I went to Panama, Australia, Guatemala, all in college. I studied sustainable tourism. So obviously tourism, and then the sustainability aspect was us coming in and seeing the local culture, the environmental pollution, things like that, environmental laws. But it was a really big eye-opener. I think traveling matures you way more faster, especially when you're in college, because you're already going into your adult phase. But this kind of like makes you mature a little bit more because you're in a, like, Panama and Guatemala, they speak a whole different language.
Yeah, and you're by yourself. There's no mom there.
And
like, you can call her, but she's not coming to wash your clothes, or she's not coming to help you.
So like,
she's not cooking.
Just like just like going out and drinking. You're like, oh, if I get too drunk and I like black out or something, what's gonna happen? So just learning like how to control yourself in different situations, meeting people. I'm a people person, so I met friends everywhere I went around the world. That's so I think, like I said, it helps you when you travel or wherever you're at, it helps you solidify of who you are. But when you go back to your hometown, it's like, am I not as friendly when I'm just here in my hometown, you know, just chilling? I'm on vacation. I'm like, hey, what you do? I'm at a bar. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You guys, what are you drinking on? You know, it's a different personality. Yeah. But if you know how to keep, you know, work with your traits and know what's well at the right situations, it's like you learn, it's like a win-win situation, you know?
That's very true.
Right from college, did you go to cooking and chefing?
So right after my senior internship in college was for sustainable tourism, and I focused on sustainable food management. Once I learned about sustainable food, I fell in love with it.
Sustainable food, tell me more about that.
So like local food sourcing, organic, healthy, green, green-based or green-favored instead of meat-favored. Different practices, like down in Panama, we learned about permaculture farming, which is no additives except for all natural things. So it's like a food forest where you mix different plants together that would, like one plant gives more nitrogen into the soil, but it's like not, it wouldn't usually be grown next to a certain type of other plant. So it's just combinations, like trying to figure out making your own ecosystems naturally versus using pesticides and different things, additives. But when I went down there, my internship was actually in culinary. It's a farm-to-table culinary arts program. So you worked on the farm, you worked in the classroom, and then you also got to do in-hand cooking in the kitchen. And that's where I fell in love with cooking. We're in the middle of the rainforest, no electricity, no running water, no Wi-Fi, only certain times with Wi-Fi. But it was like cooking on its basics. So like
my son bathed in the river.
That's nice.
It was very primitive.
Super cold.
And definitely everybody always asks, did we go skinny dipping? We definitely went skinny dipping in the middle of the jungle, and I'll never do it again because there's things at nighttime in the water that
I was about to say,
that's
mosquitoes.
Not there. Well, no, there's things in the water that aren't in there during the daytime. So definitely you live, you learn. But coming back from that experience, so that was my senior internship, came back, graduated from college, and then after I came to San Diego, moved back and literally typed in #1 catering company. And Waters Fine Catering popped up, a few other places popped up, and I applied to all of them. Waters hit me back, and I went in for an interview, told them my experience about traveling, what I like about sustainability, and what I think about the future of food. And they loved it they loved me from day one. And I was kind of like a jack of all trades in college. I was a bartender, server, line cook, prep cook, did catering. So coming into another catering company here, they're like, "Oh, perfect, and he's young, so he could drive the truck and load it too."
Well, Mama has to be proud for a moment. Chef Spencer has chefed for a member of the British royal family.
Nice. Ooh,
we can't disclose who it was.
We can't disclose what you were.
Take a sip of wine on that, though. That's pretty dope.
So, have you ever had to quit any job?
I have quit some jobs. It wasn't bad quits or anything. It was more of situational. Obviously, after Arizona, I moved back here. So I had about 4 jobs out there. Had to quit all those to come back here. Just to move. But it was understandable. They knew I was a college kid from San Diego, so it was coming eventually. But here in San Diego, seersucker, I had to quit because I went back down. So the place down in Panama hired me to become the director of the program, of the culinary arts program. So I went down to Panama again as the director a year after I came back. So I was working for seersucker in Del Mar, and I told them about the opportunity, and they loved it. They supported it. So technically, I did have to quit from that. But every time I have quit from something, it's always looking forward to a new project.
It was an evolution.
A new chapter, Yes. So I guess it is a sense of quitting, but it's still, there's something I'm looking forward to, and there's a reason why for it.
Definitely.
So that's pretty dope. Like that's a different level of quitting because, like you said, it's an evolution. I mean, I know you've had more jobs than I've had.
Yes.
So how many have you quit?
I've quit a couple of jobs.
A couple means two.
Okay, I've quit a few, and they weren't all nice. Like, okay,
They wasn't for the evolution.
Not at all. I had a lot of second jobs because I was a single mom, and I always had to, like, I'd work on the weekends, or if it was a birthday coming up, or if there's a holiday, or it's like, I'm gonna work this job, so I'm gonna work here, I'm gonna work there. I won't say the places that I worked at. Like,
we don't want to shout those guys out.
Yeah,
it's all right. We're not using any of your references.
One second job that I had, they wanted me to clean the bathroom, and I'm like, this is my second job. I'm not, like, I don't even clean the bathroom my first job. I'm just doing this as, like, kind of like to help us out. Like,
I hear you on that.
I'm out of here. So they're like, okay, so this is what we need you to do. This, and I'll say I was creaming pies. I don't know if that gives off where I was working, but I creamed pies. I'm like, I cream pies.
That definitely gives off where you're working. It wasn't Denny's.
And I walked out of there. I was like, nope, can't do it. Never turned back, never looked out. It was the first job I ever just quit like that. It was the last one I quit like that as well. But there's been times where it's like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And I'm in there talking to the manager, like, I don't like this job. And I was like, well, you can quit. Fine then, I quit.
There you go.
And I'm out.
Exercise your options, darling, and that's what we do.
we were just talking about it today. I did quit a job, SeaWorld.
Okay.
So before all the cooking stuff, in high school or junior college, I applied for SeaWorld when the Sesame Street opened up, and they wanted me to be the Big Bird character because I'm tall. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. But they're like, even if you don't do that, you can work in Sesame World or whatever, Sesame Land. And I did training, did all that stuff. And then when I get to the first day of orientation, or actually work, I go to get my uniform, and they're like, oh, they didn't tell you about your hair? And this is back when I had dreads. And I was like, oh, yeah, they said just put it up in a ponytail, put my hat on, boom, boom, I'm good to go. And they're like, oh, no, if it's down like that and it touches your collar, you can't work here.
Are you serious?
What?
Yeah.
It's dreadlocks.
At SeaWorld?
Exactly. At
And he
SeaWorld.
made it past.
I already did orientation.
HR.
I already did HR.
Yeah.
I signed all my stuff.
was the
This first day of
costume
work
woman.
is the costume person. And I was like, well, they already told me at training, just put it up. Like, I won't be walking around in the park like this, but let me just put it up. And they told me I had to cut my hair. And that's the first time I really felt prejudice against my dreads, because I had dreads in high school. And I was like, and I went back to my mom and asking her, like, how come this is how can they do that? How come this is a rule? And then we even went to the point, I was like, I can say I'm Rastafari, like, it's my religion.
Claim the religion.
Like,
Yeah.
what are they, like, how can they do this? But
true.
it was the first time. So I think that stuck with me for the hair part, but I totally forgot. That's the first time I ever quit a job before I even started.
Yeah. That's legit, though.
I still got paid, though, for training. So I had to make sure to get that check.
Because our son works at SeaWorld now, and I'm trying to get him to quit.
Ironic.
Yeah, he just graduated high school, and this is his first job, and I'm like, dude, like, quit.
He needs it. What's he gonna quit and do? He needs that job.
There's something else you can do. But so I haven't had very many jobs, and Danielle and I laugh about this all the time because I was 17 when I graduated high school. I had my first job in a sneaker store, and I walked out of the sneaker store, like, I just had an epiphany one day, just walked out. And I was like, I'm not coming back to this. And I never came back. I didn't say anything to nobody.
I ain't selling shoes no more.
No. But I walked out and I joined the Navy. Like, so I walked out and went to the recruiter office.
Big job.
Yeah, I was like, and because I was supposed to be in college, and for me, it was, college was not the path because we couldn't afford it. So my thinking was, well, since I can't afford it, might as well go to the military. I'm not going to sit on Jamaica Avenue selling sneakers my entire life. So I quit that job. And like you said, the only jobs that I left the military. So, I mean, technically my contract was up. And then, and when I got into corporate America, I feel like I hit a ceiling and I wanted to go out and do my own thing. So I feel you when it was the evolution of going to the next thing.
Yeah, there's a timing. You always, when the time's right to leave something. It's kind of the intuition, your sense of intuition. But I always give recommendations of the first year you're at a company, do whatever they tell you to do. The second year, give recommendations on what you think should be changed around. The third year, you stay around and implement those recommendations. And then after that, if there's nothing else, if the company's running a well-oiled machine, you move on to the next, you know? Bring your advice and your expertise to another company, help them out. Or unless it's your dream job. At the end of the day, if it's your dream job, yeah.
Because you know what they always say, it's very hard to be a prophet in your own land. You got to move on and spread the love other places.
That's true.
And it's okay to do that, people.
Yeah.
Remember that.
That is true. Now, we talked about quitting jobs. What about quitting people? Is that too touchy of a subject?
Absolutely not.
I had to quit people before.
Quitting people is good in your life.
Yeah. And at what point do you realize, like, okay, this person's toxic and they need to go? And then, like, do you guys have a story that you may want to share of someone that you wanted to not get rid of, but get away from, but was kind of hard?
I don't have a story, but I would say that people that you want to quit out of your life or get out of your life, it's more of you've given, in my personal my experience, you've given them a lot of second chances. Or you've tried over and over and given them the benefit of the doubt. And then it just finally gets to a brick wall where you're like, I'm not done. I'm not going to fall for this anymore. So
you finally realizing you've been shoving a round peg in a square hole. And how many times are you going to give chances that peg ain't going to turn into a square, honey?
Very true. Very true.
So
that's like teaching the grandbabies that last week.
It's very fundamental.
You're going to be dealing with this your whole life.
Exactly.
So
it starts now.
we grow up and go, no, it's like this. I don't want to be your friend anymore, but I don't want you to go hungry, but I'm just not going to break bread with you.
Correct. Yeah.
So we find ways to see people's strengths and their weaknesses. And quitting people, like I say, is a good thing because we all deserve somebody, and like minds will somehow end up together. Don't waste your time or someone else's time trying to put the round peg in the square hole.
Exactly. It's going to be actually, we're going to an episode about being the average of the 5 that you're around, right? Which I feel like T-Mobile had the greatest when they first came out. Who's your fave 5?
Like MySpace too. Yeah. MySpace got that. Top 8.
Like they was trying to tell us something, but you had to kind of think about it. Like, man, like, look at my fave 5. Who are you going to put on that list?
That's true. Who do I call? Who do I depend on?
But unfortunately, you have like the Facebook, though, that's like build your community, make it larger, bring in people you never have met and start communicate and social networking with them. There's such an antithesis in our society.
Keep your circle small and close, but then social media wise, you want your circle to be huge and everybody knows you and everybody.
How many thumbs uppy, likeies?
Yeah, you want likes and comments and all that shares.
You go for a banker, they say how many followers you have.
Oh
my goodness!
It's gonna get to that point probably.
Excuse me, I was in a legal deposition and they asked what my social networking was.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yelp.
Seriously, I use Yelp. I got a Yelp account.
like I go on Yelp and I give advice.
I do. Star ratings. How here's our rating. That's mine.
Oh man.
What about you, babe? And quitting people?
Oh, I raise my hand, quitting people in a heartbeat.
The thing about Tommy that he says all the time too, which I don't know if you had a relationship in the past and that person comes and tries to rekindle, he's like, leave them in the past. Like, fuck that. Like, leave them alone. Don't go back. What do you feel about that? It just depends, I guess. Or do you just, does it depend at all?
That had to be case to case because, I don't know. I don't have any personal experience with something like that. But I'm thinking as
kind of good you ain't got no personal
experience.
Ride that wave right now.
Like as a romantic, I'm like, what if somebody from the past finally came back and was like, oh, I've always had feeling for you, blah, 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 whatever. But like I said, I have no experience, so I don't know if that's even true. That might just be a little romantic rom-com.
Yeah, I think.
Why do you feel that way?
Me from I don't understand it. I don't have that experience either from a romantic standpoint. but to me, it's like if we've gone our separate ways, then that's what it is. We're our separate ways. We're not going to try and force it. It goes back to circle and a square. Like, it is what it is. And then it comes to that level of attachment, right? And my level of attachment for a lot of things, I ain't gonna say most, but a lot of things is level 1, where it's like, I could be a fan and I could applaud you, but I'm gonna walk away the same dude. You know what I mean?
You're not going to buy another ticket to that show.
Exactly.
But, you're fine.
Or it's like it's your trip, but I didn't pay for it, so I'm not going on it with you. So it's like I did not pay for that trip.
Yeah, there
Well,
you go.
I
Let you
have,
go.
quit on someone with a little story. I was going through a very health challenge in my life where it came down to really the only people I could have around me that were supporting me and embracing me on this horrific health challenge I was faced with. And I was trying to explain that, I don't have the energy to give to anything. I need support. But the support wasn't coming, to the point the person came to my house and knocked on the door. It wasn't Spencer, my other son, said who it was. And I said, do not let them in. Proceeded to open the door and let them in. I ran into the bathroom and hid. My sons are out there talking to this person like, well, yeah, she ran into the bathroom. And I just, you know what? I put the big ones on and I walked out and I just said, I can't do it in my life right now. You're dragging me down. And if you can't understand that, you need to leave right now.
That's it.
That's a great awareness.
Exit them out.
Yeah.
And that's tough too. I'm
It's
sure
very
is
tough.
tough.
She boo-hooed, you know. But there are times when you have to stop the toxicity.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's certain things in life, like we just talked about, that will kind of force you into that position. And one of the things I want to ask you is because, with the culture, you said you're in California, people don't understand Lumpia, so I'm sure you're getting a lot of criticism, right?
Yeah, well, it's a two-way street. The Filipinos that know Lumpia criticize me because they think I'm just black.
They want the traditional too.
And they're like, they look at me, they're like, oh, you're not Filipino.
Oh,
Someone we were at the San Diego Zoo Food and Wine and Brew celebration over the weekend, and someone came up, Filipino, and they're like, so who's Filipino? It's the classic thing. Who's Filipino here? And I'm like, I am. I'm the chef owner. And they look at me up and down, and they're like, no, you're too tall. You're not Filipino. And I was like, yeah, I'm half black, half Filipino. And they're like, oh, half
That
black.
makes sense.
Okay. And I'm like, with the mac and cheese lumpia, the Filipinos instantly, the modern Filipinos will be like, they'll be like, okay, I see that. Fried mac and cheese, lumpia, I see that. And then the modernists, the classic traditionalists, they hate the mac and cheese lumpia. They sometimes can get with the chicken adobo and the pork belly sisig, but when they see something not even in the culture be put into the lumpia, they don't fly with it. They think lumpia is just one thing. But like, it's literally embodying me. I'm half black, half Filipino, so I took some soul food mac and cheese and put it inside a lumpia, and it literally embodies who I am on a plate. So the story goes deeper than just like stoner lumpia food.
Right.
People just think we're putting anything inside of lumpias, but there
Got the
really is a
munchies in it.
backstory. Yeah. I mean, there are some stoner creations that we do come up with, but
Well, Spencer just did, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
On Honest Fusion, with the horrific aftermath of Hurricane Ida in Louisiana, one of his co-participants on the food truck race from New Orleans devastated out. Spencer did a fundraiser and did Cajun Asian, spambalaya, so spam-infused jambalaya,
Wow.
lumpia, red beans and rice lumpia, and bananas Foster lumpia.
The bananas Fosters, I think, is one of my favorites.
Really? So is that beating the apple pie?
Ooh, that rum, that flambe.
Close second.
It's a close second. Yeah. It depends too, because if you have both of them with ice cream, it's done data.
Yeah.
They're both it's over the top.
Yeah.
But he was able to do that fusion and do a fundraiser for hurricane victims.
Yes.
That's super
So
dope.
sky's the limit.
We infuse different cultures, cuisines into the lumpia because you might be familiar with what mac and cheese tastes like. So you don't know what a lumpia is, but you just know the flavor that you're going to get tasting it. You know what buffalo chicken is, you know what cheeseburger and fries taste like, but it's just in a different vessel. So when people are confused on what lumpia is, when we explain the different flavors inside of it, they get that it's the wrapper. Because a lot of Filipinos don't even get like it's just the wrapper that's actually the lumpia. It's a lumpia. It's like a taco shell or burrito with tortilla.
Right.
You put anything in the inside, but
It's still lumpia.
traditionalist people, tacos are just pollo
Yeah,
asada, carne
tacos a
asada.
taco a taco.
Yeah, but people are now branching out. People are starting to try like you've seen like mac and cheese pizzas. They have mac and cheese tacos now. People do all different types of stuff. Just run with it because it's a nice for us for a food truck. It's a perfect fit because we're one product, whole bunch of flavors. Perfect business plan for a food truck because you want to kind of keep the same type of theme with everything, but you want to have diversity and options.
Yeah, love it.
That's pretty dope. That even getting that kind of criticism, you know, from your own culture, and then you're infusing it. You're still like, no, fuck that. I believe, and we're still gonna get out here and get it. You know what I mean? That's way dope.
And not quit.
Yeah.
Spencer catered it was actually my father's celebration of life, and the aunties were there. Aunties from Manila Mesa here in San Diego. And they were all kind of looking, and Spencer threw down the food. The aunties, wrapped in their blankets, made the approval.
Oh, okay.
So it's very
That's
reverse
probably
here.
the most nervous I was cooking because it's traditional Filipino food and because they all wanted all traditional stuff. So I was
The
like,
aunties.
I'll throw down.
That's awesome. That is super dope.
So let's say, what about habits? Who's quit some habits? Like I used to bite my nails really bad when I was a kid, and my mom bought me this nail polish, and literally anything that I touched, and like so if I was eating chicken, chips, whatever, I could taste it. So I don't put my hands in my mouth at all. So it not only stopped me from biting my nails, but it stopped me from putting my fingers in my mouth, period. So that's a habit that I quit. But I mean, I was young, I was a kid, so but I did quit. I don't do that.
Good. Let's see. In college I quit eating red meat. I did weekday vegetarian.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go back to that now. So weekday vegetarian, obviously Monday through Friday, try to stay away from red meats, pork and beef. Fish and chicken are fine exceptions if you're getting locally and organic. But
does that mean tomahawk on Saturday?
hey, yeah, it's gonna get to that. So that means on Saturdays and Sundays, you can go ahead and splurge a little bit, get that In-N-Out burger, eat a steak or two. But once you get in the routine of 5 days off, basically 2 days on of red meat, by the time you get into the third or fourth week, you start eliminating the meat anymore. You don't even want it anymore. Or you get a burger once in a while, and then you're like, ooh, you feel it the next day, you know? So it helped a lot with me in college. I kind of slacked off of it. I guess I quit from the quitting. But I'm trying to get back with it now. Chef life definitely took a toll on me, just working different late hours and stuff. Always around food that you want to eat and you have to eat to taste anyways. But at the end of the day, it's like I want to start eliminating red meats out of my diet again because definitely that'd be a good thing to quit.
Yeah.
That's super dope. I mean, no matter what, we have to quit things. If you're quitting a habit, if you're quitting people, or if you're quitting, I mean, some jobs are dead end, some jobs aren't. But as people, you know, we tend to quit on things that really benefit us. So even if it's an idea, if we're especially trying to be an entrepreneur, you've been an entrepreneur for quite a long time now, and you're only 30 years old. So you've been an entrepreneur in your 20s. We became entrepreneurs in our like full-time entrepreneurs in our 30s, right? So when it comes to, you know, getting out there, I feel like we tend, especially as a culture, we tend to quit on our own selves faster than we quit on anything else. Like we'll go out and work a job for 20 years and hate that job and complain about it.
But still wake up and go.
And still go, right? Like we'll work harder for somebody else's idea than our own. And no matter what we go through, even if it's criticism, if it's, you know, bad habits, we'll still overcome that. We'll find an excuse to keep running in that same direction. Or even with the wrong people, we'll keep, no, this is my best friend. I knew him since elementary school. But so we find that at that level 5 attachment for whatever reason.
And it's a trip though too, because like the flip side of that is not letting go and not quitting too soon, right? It's like waiting. It's like you know how they say like joy comes in that, like in the morning or like in that midnight hour is when you see the, you know, the change or that thing that you were hoping for. So sometimes it's better to hold on before you quit and not quit so soon. So
Not have such high immediate expectations.
yeah.
Let things, some organic evolution happen.
Yes, yeah. And then sometimes you just gotta let it go. You gotta
Yeah.
be over it, right? It's like
Yep.
that's good to go.
Yeah, would you say that you had like a accountability or mentors or somebody that, you know, wouldn't allow you to quit as you went on this journey?
Definitely my family support has helped a lot. Obviously, it's a family company and small business. A lot of my family members work for me and volunteer for me. So definitely my family. My mom definitely has always been there whenever it has been a rough time or not the best outcome that we thought we were going to have that day. She definitely has kept me going with, even from childhood with sports. At the end of the game, it wouldn't matter win or lose. She'd come up to me or my brother and ask, did we have fun? And it's kind of like that still with business and everyday life.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if we had a crazy event, she'd be like, well, did you have fun today?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we might have got sold out, got our ass kicked. Some customers complained, but you know, I had fun today.
Fun. It's
Yeah.
like so fun, you
Yeah,
know?
fun.
Had a good
So
time.
it's definitely a blessing working for yourself. I will say that I definitely work harder for myself. I mean, I worked hard in every job that I've had, but when you work for yourself, you just have that little bit more edge, and you see what everything, and it's very transparent with your company. You can see everything from what's accounting to legal to customer relationships. You've seen everything. So not many companies show you all aspects of their companies. So to know how little things affect this and this and that, it's cool that's why I like being an entrepreneur. You get to literally connect all the dots and figure out, problem solve, and put out fires when you need to.
Super dope.
Definitely.
What would you say is your why? I got two questions. Your why, and then what's your superpower?
My why for the company?
Yeah.
Or just
Out here grinding the way you do.
I think the why I do what I do in my lifestyle, I think it's really representation. I think it's not just representation of my cultures, my family's history, my culture's histories. It's more of like during the pandemic, a lot of Black Lives Matter stuff. I had conversations with my mom. I'm like, I want to be out there marching with them and stuff, but also I don't want to shut down my company for a few days to do that. I'd rather keep the company open and donate monetarily wise to Black Lives Matter, but also show that we are a Black-owned company and we're showing that we're doing it out here, even during the pandemic. So my form of protesting would be me being open and making money.
Nice.
You know,
Showing you are a successful Black man.
Nice. Very
That
good.
we still need those role models out there, especially in times of such struggle.
1,000%.
You need to show.
and I think my superpower, I think it would be leadership, because every single job, every single situation I've been in, I remember it all the way down to a halftime coach talk in basketball in high school. My coach said, if this building would catch on fire, who would be the person to lead everybody out? Who would get the elder and the kids out? Who would make sure everybody gets to the exit? Who would make sure there's a fire extinguisher? And I never, in that moment, I remember that speech, but I questioned myself. I was like, would I be that person? And in high school, at one of our kickbacks at our house, someone fell asleep in the backyard next to a candle, and it fell over and caught on fire on his blanket. And in that moment, I ran to under the sink, grabbed the fire extinguisher out, pulled the pin, and blew out the fire. And I've never used a fire extinguisher before. I didn't even know we had one underneath the sink. I just assumed there's one under there. But it's kind of like in that moment, you see who you are, the fight or flight instincts. And I definitely have had multiple instances traveling around the world and stuff where I've seen, like, even with people I barely know and barely met, I'll try to step up and try to be a leader.
That's super dope.
Oh, on the Great Food Truck Race, we were probably hauling caravan, 5 food trucks with a follow car in between each truck, hauling 85 miles an hour on a 2-lane freeway back in New England, very pretty but small. All of a sudden, our truck in front of us, so we've got Leah's Lumpia truck, I'm driving a little Nissan Sentra, then we got another food truck, and it goes car, truck. Our food truck starts slowing down and loses all power and starts rolling backwards towards me on the freeway. All of us, the trucks and I, all start pulling over on the shoulder where there's hardly any shoulder. Our food truck, it's just because the driver, your emergency brake is somewhere completely different than you ever think it would be in a vehicle.
Yeah, it's a lever, a big
Spencer
pull lever.
Jumps out of the car, and I'm sitting there going, son, you're going to let your mama get crushed by a food truck right now.
Yeah, she thought I left her.
He was racing.
I said, fuck this.
He ran into the food truck and said, emergency brake. He knew
Pull the
exactly
lever.
was and pulled it
Nice.
Yeah.
and stopped. That food truck probably came within 15 feet of going over into a ravine.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
and that would have been the end of the show for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
They probably would have wrote us off on some
We
stuff
would have had
like,
a problem
on
then.
camera. They
and
had
sent us a
accident. One of those
Crazy.
just black screen
But
with text.
Spencer I've seen him like in those moments of dire emergency jump in there to where I work for him for Waters Catering. He's my executive chef, and it's such a freaking delight to work for him.
That's
Whether
awesome.
he's, don't get me wrong, he's chewed my ass out on the floor of Nordstrom. Mama make sure she don't make that mistake again, but an absolute delight.
Yeah, she's kitchen staff at work,
Yeah.
not mom.
I'm the kitchen
Yeah,
right?
That's
Hey,
awesome.
I understand
What's your
that.
final thought?
My final thought comes from Douglas MacArthur, and it's age wrinkles the body, and quitting actually wrinkles the soul. And I love that. That resonated like deeply with me.
Yeah, that's facts right there. I can see
beautiful.
that one. For my final thought is, and it's funny that you referenced some of the things that you referenced about Black Lives Matter. A man is not finished when he is defeated. He is finished when he quits. So when you think about MLK, Malcolm X, you think about the leaders of our past and the amount of weight that was on their shoulders going through what they're going through, it would have been okay in their family's eyes to quit, but it wouldn't have been okay in the culture eyes. Yeah, and we wouldn't be where we are today if those guys quit it, with all the things that they went through, all the bullshit, all the backlash, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, quitting is not an option. Like, we have to get through it. So super dope. Spence, thank you for hanging out with us. Please give us your handles, your social media. Where can we find you? Where's Leah's Lumpia going to be?
Oh, yeah. You can find us on all social medias at Leah's Lumpia, Lias Lumpia. And then leahslumpia.com. You'll see our weekly schedule and our monthly schedule there. And also you can check out our current menu. We're also going to be in a couple events in October. So check out our schedule. We'll be at Mostra's anniversary Halloween weekend. We'll be at the Taste of Philippines Festival the 16th of October. And we'll be in the San Diego Taco Fest with 92.5.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're doing some Filipino-inspired tacos.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Super dope.
Excited.
And you're also for hire. So if you wanted to do a special event,
Oh, yeah. We do private catering and special events. If you have any type of festivals, local markets or anything, hit us up. If you want any private catering to your house or any venues, we do that. Everything from birthday parties to full-in weddings. We actually are doing our first Lumpia rolling cooking class
Oh, that sounds fun.
at the end of the month. So
Cooking class, rolling class, and team building.
nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound like a
I
great
see.
first date.
Yeah.
You ready
Yeah.
for another first date?
There you go.
Let's do it.
Super dope.
All right. This has been Life and Shit with Tommy and Danny. I love you.
Shit. Love you. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.